The day started quiet. I was sitting at my kitchen table, coffee in hand, scrolling through local headlines, when I heard the soft rattle at the front door. It wasn't the wind. The lock had been busted for weeks, and the bolt barely caught anymore. I told myself I'd fix it after work, but then it rattled again. "Mike," a voice called, my sister's voice, high and too cheerful. It was the kind of cheer she put on like a mask. I set down the mug. "You can't just." She was already in. The door swung open, chain dangling loose where the screw had ripped out of the frame. She stepped in like she owned the place, arms crossed over her chest, eyes darting around as if she expected to catch me in the middle of some crime. "Don't you knock anymore?" I asked. "Don't you answer your phone anymore?" she shot back. That was how it always started. A simple question, sharpened until it cut both ways. Her name was Amanda, 2 years younger than me, but she carried herself like she was the elder. We used to be close, somewhere between Dad's funeral and Mom selling the house. Something in her cracked. I learned early to keep my answers short around her. She stored them, twisted them, brought them back later in ways I barely recognized. She walked into my kitchen now, eyes scanning the counter. "So, you've been eating takeout every night?" "I've been busy. Too busy to eat like a normal person. Too busy to call your own sister." She said sister like it was a title I'd disrespected. I took a sip of cold coffee and stared at the broken lock. I'd been meaning to replace it for weeks, but part of me worried that if I did, she'd only find another way in. The thing about Amanda was that she didn't scream. She didn't slam doors or throw plates. She made you feel small with sighs, pauses, and questions you couldn't answer without incriminating yourself. After the divorce, she'd started showing up more. At first, I thought it was support, but she never came empty-handed, always with criticism, or subtle reminders of what she'd done for me. Like last month, when she found out I'd been seeing someone new. "After everything I helped you with," she'd said, "you go and hide this from me." Helped me? She'd been there when the marriage fell apart, sure, but she'd also whispered poison into my ear, until I didn't know what was true anymore. That morning, she sat at my table without asking, flipping through my unopened mail. "Late electric bill," she murmured. "Not good, Mike." I reached for the envelope. "Give me that." She held it just out of reach. "I'm only looking out for you." Something in me tightened. The lock, the unannounced visits. The way she'd been texting my friends behind my back, just to check in. Last week, a buddy told me she'd called his wife to warn her about me. No details, just enough to make them both wary. It was like she was building a case. By the time she left that morning, dropping the electric bill on the counter like evidence, I'd already decided. The plan had been in my head for months, but fear kept me from acting. Fear she'd turn the family against me. Fear she'd spin the story so I'd look unstable. But that broken lock, that was the opening. I drove straight to the hardware store, bought a new deadbolt, 2 security cameras, and a small audio recorder I could tuck on the bookshelf. It wasn't paranoia, it was proof. The first recording was from 3 days later. She came over again. Same cheerful mask, same quick scan of the room. She opened with, "I hope you know I can still get in even if you change the locks." It sounded like a joke, but her voice carried that low, certain hum she used when she wanted something to sink in. I kept my own voice calm. "Amanda, you can't keep coming over uninvited." Her reply, "You're not well enough to make that decision." When I played it back that night, my stomach turned. There it was, her telling me, straight out, that my boundaries didn't matter. Over the next 2 weeks, the pattern repeated. She'd show up, push, prod, leave little comments like hooks under my skin. "You always were the fragile one. Mom worries about what you might do. If you'd just listened to me, you wouldn't have so many problems." The recorder caught them all. The camera by the door caught her trying the handle after I'd locked it. Twice. By then, the fear had shifted. I wasn't afraid of her anymore. I was afraid of what she'd keep doing if I didn't stop her. I waited until I had enough hours of audio. Clips of her on the porch, timestamps showing she'd come when I wasn't home. I even caught her slipping an envelope under my door with a note that read, "We both know you're not safe, alone." I took it all to the county courthouse. The clerk didn't blink. She'd seen this before. Filing for a restraining order felt surreal, like I was betraying some unspoken family code. But the judge didn't see it that way. After hearing the tapes, he didn't hesitate. Amanda didn't say a word during the hearing, just stared at me with those pale, unreadable eyes. When it was over, the judge granted a permanent order. She couldn't come within 200 yards of my home, my work, or any place I regularly visited. As I left the courthouse, I half expected to feel triumphant. Instead, I just felt quiet. That night, I replaced a chain on my door. The new deadbolt clicked solidly into place. I stood there a while, hand resting on the lock, listening to the silence of the house. No rattle, no voice calling my name, just stillness. She can't get in anymore.